The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And we're live. Sorry about that. I had to cut off Darcy there. I forgot to tell her that we were 10 seconds away. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Scarefest TV. I'm your host, Wes Forsyth. Go ahead and throw Darcy up on there. We've got a great guest that we're already having fun. We're already having so much fun. We don't even need you people. That's how much fun we're having.
Happy Friday.
Friday the 6th. We're celebrating the 6th. On the 6th. That's one of... I have trouble with THs and S's. Anyway, my co-host tonight is is Mr. Chad Harlen, who is just getting fancy as shit, as you can see, with backdrops and stepping his game up a little bit. And
yeah, I don't get a lovely before my name, though.
No, not yet. You haven't earned your lovely yet. But, okay, people, we do have things to talk about tonight before we get to our guest. Now, first of all, I'm gonna harp on it all night long. The Patreon account. Darcy is going to come back after the show, after the Scarefest TV show, and give us a few more minutes of her time with a face-to-face Q&A via Zoom only for our Patreons. Basically, if you join our Patreon page tonight, that is patreon.com/scarefestradio, then it will open up the little post for the public that the public can't see. You can see, and it will tell you how to get into the chat room tonight at 10 p.m. at the top of the hour, as we say in the broadcast business. And that's... The rest of it will wait. Let's bring on Darcy. Darcy, so nice to have you. Now, in the chat room, which year was Camp Scarefest? Was that Scarefest 9? Because I did my research, and that was the last time you were at Scarefest.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, that was
so much fun, too.
It was fun for you, but the people behind you... That was the year they had the bright idea of putting all of you Friday the 13th people in that little cubby hole, and it had props, and it was a really nice setup. Mm-hmm. But anybody that was on the aisle behind you, half of the people walked through the building didn't even know they were there, because everything led to you guys.
Oh, yay!
And
we like it that way.
We have, and then somebody had the bright idea of taking all of you at once and doing a panel. Mm-hmm. And so for about an hour there, anybody that walked in the building to see anything from Friday the 13th.
That panel was full.
Yeah, that's wherever they were there. But anybody walked on the main floor and said, "Boy, there's a lot of empty tables here." Now, and by the way, we were talking about your agent. I don't have to name him, but I just want to say he suggested that I have you and Tom Fridley on. Mm-hmm. At the same time to talk about your love scene. And that No, okay, that's actually I'm gonna
if Tom was on, because Tom would do he's like 99 miles an hour. It's amazing.
That is actually that scene. Now actually, as far as love scenes go, it was actually pretty tame. There was not a breast to be had in that scene. There was in other words, it was just the
they didn't try.
Oh, I'm aware of some of your other work, so yes, I'm sure they tried, but it didn't need it. You were
Yeah.
Now, how old were you when you did that movie?
I think I was 23.
Okay, 23. So you were a woman. You were becoming a woman of the world by then. The reason that was popping into my head now. First of all, I'm going to say that was one of my favorite installments of the series. I will also add that it's nice to be able to go back and watch that with a beautiful woman as yourself, because we're the same age and I don't have to feel creepy for finding you attractive back then, because back then I was, but so I guess the question, but that was just such a over the top way to meet you in that movie, because I don't think you had any screen time until that.
No, I didn't. Not until he was in the Winnebago with me.
Yeah.
And the girl said, I think he mentioned something about things that go bump in the night. And then that cuts to us in the Winnebago. And the music's playing. And, we had Tom McLaughlin, our director, asked me to pick music. So I picked Prince, a song by Prince. And we're moving to that. So that's why we're not actually moving to the right music.
I did not notice that.
It's totally different. And you're looking at it going, well, they're not really in sync with the music. But
now,
you never really noticed that.
I did not notice that. But now here comes a fan question.
Okay.
The thing that amazes me about true horror movie fans, I'm a movie fan, but I'm a passive movie fan. I enjoy movies. I enjoy good movies. I enjoy bad movies, but I'm not one of those fans. But at horror conventions that you obviously go to quite often, there are those fans. Has anybody ever walked up to you and asked you why you're out of sync with the damn music?
No. And I just let it out of the bag.
I'm actually completely shocked, because
Only
I've had
for you guys. Nobody's ever asked me this, and it's just kind of came out. So this was a secret, but now you know.
The reason I ask that is I have watched people walk up to Kane Hodder and ask him why in a certain scene he moved this way instead of moving this way. I mean,
okay.
They know the scripts better than the actors probably do, and so that's a cool thing.
One thing you need to remember, excuse me for interrupting you,
no.
but this is something that we did 30-something years ago, and the fans, fortunately, are still watching. So I didn't just watch the movie last week. So when somebody comes to a convention, most likely they've viewed the film and they're excited to see the person. That's why they're coming up with these questions, because that we don't have the answers to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just
it's kind of like the Saturday Night Live sketch with the Star Trek. Star Trekkies, and they're asking all the questions, and William Shatner goes, "It's a damn TV series." We don't know. Anyway,
it's true, right? It's a movie. We made it 30-something years ago.
But it has aged extremely well.
It is fun to watch.
Even the cinematography looks very modern, if you will. In other words, a lot of the movies before that, especially when they relied on practical effects, which you pretty much had to back then. But that movie could have come out 2 years ago, and I think it still would have had the same impact, the same popularity. To me it flowed very, very well. Chad, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Hey, Darcy, it's great to see you. I appreciate your joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to kind of take it back, and I'm sure that a lot of the fans have some questions. Just kind of the background and history. How did you get into acting, and what was your path down that road?
Interestingly enough, I was a dancer, and growing up as a child, my very best diehard friend is an actress that some of you might know. Her name is Helen Hunt. So Helen and I were in dance class together. We were in acting class together. And Helen was a very successful TV actress in her childhood. So I basically spent my childhood growing up on her movie sets. One summer, she did a TV series called Swiss Family Robinson, and I spent the whole summer with her. So I always knew I wanted to be an actress, and I really wanted, and I was a dancer. I danced professionally for quite some time. I'm retired from that now, but yeah, that's pretty kind of how I got into it. I did my first commercial when I was 15 years old, and I always looked older when I was younger. And then when I booked a little film called Can't Buy Me Love, I went to meet the actors that I was going to be playing, best friends with, and they were both 15 years old, and I was 23 years old. So it kind of switched when I looked older when I was younger, and then when I got older, I looked younger. It's just one of those crazy things. So it's been a blessing.
Listen, that's one of my favorite roles you've done. So thank you for bringing that up.
Patty?
Yeah, Patty.
Oh,
I love Can't Buy Me Love. It's always been one of my favorite go-to old movies. So I enjoy that very much. And my wife told me to ask you what McDreamy was really like in person. So I told her I wasn't going to bring that up.
I'm happy to answer that. Patrick is awesome. He was very nice to work with. It was a little interesting because he was I think he turned 21 while we were filming, and he had his manager with him and his acting coach on set, and they secretly got married. And I don't know if many people know this, but that was Rocky Parker, and that's Corey. I think was it Corey Parker's mom, who was Patrick's best friend. It's like a whole, I don't know, 6 degrees. Like I said, it's hard to go back because it's been a minute or two, but like 37 minutes, years. But yeah, it's interesting. But he was amazing. I loved him. Sweetheart.
Well, that's great. It's great to hear. You were, and this was my next question on the list. I think you kind of answered it. Was that your break into the movies, that role, or had you been doing stuff before that?
My first film was called Hard Bodies, and then, God, I think it was Can't Buy Me Love. I think maybe I did 1 or 2 in between Can't Buy Me Love. Then I did For Keeps with John Avildsen, Oscar winner, director. And then I believe in the sequence I went to do Friday the 13th. And then I started doing sci-fi. I pretty much hit every genre when I was really young, which is kind of hard to do. But I had a blast.
It seems you worked on quite a bit of horror as you kind of got into that. Is that a genre that you were drawn to, or just kind of worked your way into it by opportunity?
When you're an actor, sometimes it's slim pickings. So you take what you get, and horror's the most fun. Horror and comedy are my favorites. But, horror, there's just so much that's involved with it, the reactions and then whatever is happening as far as the monster and the makeup and all that good, yummy stuff.
Absolutely. It's certainly one of my favorites to watch, but it seems like it'd be a lot of fun on set too, as you have opportunities to get more into, like you said, the dress up, the characters, the costumes. So.
Exactly. I played a zombie in a film.
Wow.
They had a choreographer come in to teach us how to walk. We're like,
right now, let's go. Let me toss over. I think we got a commercial break coming up.
We do. We'll be right back after these messages and a word from Bonehead Weekly.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Hello, Scarefest fans. I don't know about you, but it's been a long week. I'm just sitting here eating Halloween candy, waiting to find out results. Trying to cheer myself up, trying to think of things that are positive. I review horror films for a place called Scarefest. That's positive, I guess, but what horror films cheer you up? Here's one I think that's forgotten. Didn't do well in its original theatrical release in 2007. Of course, they let it out on Easter weekend with another horror film. And it was over 200 minutes long. Who here has seen Grindhouse? This is my Blu-ray copy. Now, Grindhouse was an experiment, if you will, between Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. They wanted to kind of create a Grindhouse experience. Now, in the South, we called them drive-ins, and that's what we have is drive-ins. But if you were in a popular, a big city, they called them grindhouses, like second-run places, where you get a double feature. You could watch 2 movies for the price of one. Grindhouses, drive-ins. They showed a lot of trash in the 60s and the 70s and a little bit in the early 80s. This movie was to celebrate that. They did fake trailers at the beginning, the middle, right? They had 2 movies from Robert Rodriguez, the guy that gave us From Dusk Till Dawn. Tarantino, you know who that is. And this movie was a flop. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. They ended up splitting it up into 2 different movies when they released it on DVD. It wasn't until later that you could actually get the Blu-ray with the whole experience. But to be in that theater that Easter weekend, because that's such a dumbass time to release a double feature horror film, was an amazing experience because you got over 3 hours of entertainment for the price of 1 ticket. And I had a blast. I loved it. I still do like it. I think Kurt Russell as the villain in Death Proof, which is Tarantino's. The ladies in that are absolutely fabulous. Then there's Robert Rodriguez as batshit crazy Planet Terror. Oh, I mean, it's zombies, but they kind of mutated zombies. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. It has a cameo from Bruce Willis. It has Jeff Fahey in it. Michael Parks, who plays the sheriff and From Dusk Till Dawn and in Kill Bill. He's in both of them. I like them both. I love them both, but we don't talk about Grindhouse now. And that's a shame. I was hoping later on it would find its cult following, and maybe it has and I've just missed out, but I don't think so. So if you all have never experienced, if you've only seen like Death Proof or Planet Terror, the actual way to experience this is to get this Blu-ray right here with Grindhouse and watch it with the fake trailer movie, fake trailers. There's one by Rob Zombie. There's one by Edgar Wright, who gave us Shaun of the Dead. These are fantastic, and there's so much. There's one by Eli Roth called Thanksgiving, which is a slasher film that takes place on when? Thanksgiving. And that has Michael Biehn in a small part in it. Michael Bihn's also in, that's right, plays Jeff Fahey's brother in Planet Terror. Check them out. Check out Grindhouse as a whole. Watch it from beginning to end. I mean, it's a little over 3 hours. It's a big commitment, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of entertainment for your dollar. I think the movies Death Proof and Planet Terror on their own are not as overly satisfactory as putting them together the way they were meant to be with the fake trailers. And if nothing else, you get Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. If I've done nothing else, you should watch it for Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly, eating that candy and drinking that bourbon because I don't know if this shit show is going to get any better.
And welcome back, everybody. We got a few announcements to throw in your mix. Don't forget Scarefest CyberCon coming up November 21st. Go to thescarefest.com/CyberCon or go to thescarefest.com and click the link. It works either way. Go ahead and get your tickets. We'll have announcements coming out soon. Central Kentucky Mystical Market. Now, November crapped out because Lexington, Kentucky is a COVID red zone. So hopefully we'll be back up and running in December. That'll be December 12th and 13th. CentralKentuckyMysticalMarket.com to keep up with it, or look them up on Facebook. Now, once again, I'm doing a little business for the show. Our Patreon account, Scarefest, Patreon.com/ScarefestRadio. After the show tonight, the lovely Darcy Demoss is going to pop in for a few minutes to answer your questions face to face and say hi. And so just go ahead. As soon as you join up, you can read the post that will. The most recent post has the login information for tonight's meeting. And we're back. We touched a nerve, Darcy, with that, talking about your love scene.
Oh.
They well, the question here, this is from the chat room. In the Jason Live scene, how long did it take to choreograph that scene, and was it difficult? So now, in my mind, I have to split it up two ways. Is she talking about where you? Well, I'm sure on set
Or
it was.
having sex?
I was going to say dry hump because,
Okay. Yes.
or the part where he dragged you into the toilet and smashed your face into the wall. Spoiler alert! How long did it take to get all that actually in the can, as they say?
Well, I'm going to start with the scene where we're in the motorhome. I'm going to go forward instead of backwards. So
the bus scene. She was asking about the bus scene.
Yeah, where he's dry, he moves forward, then he's got to put it in reverse. So then all the little frames on the wall are moving as I go flying forward. And then I go back and my shoes fly, my feet fly over my head, my shoes fly off. Nothing was moving except for me. And there were little strings attached to the little frames. And then the shutters were moving. And so it was like an I Love Lucy episode, basically. And then the sex scene, the dry humping scene, they did request, because there was no nudity in the film, for me to lose my top. And I said, well, it's not in my contract. So you have to call my agent. And the contracts were signed. The ink was dry. It's a done deal. They couldn't, unless I decided to. But you know what? I kind of feel like it's more interesting without it, to have it, I mean, like a boob is a boob.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's got different boobs, but it's just, I don't know. This film didn't have any breasts in it. And I think it's great because of that. And it had humor in it, which the other Friday the 13th didn't have. So it made it more interesting.
Yeah. Trust me, as a dirty old man from way back, I thought the movie did not need it. Yeah. And it probably only cost you 1 or 2 points on Joe Bob Briggs's thing. So good for you for standing firm. Now, but
there's one thing I did want to say. The one thing that needed to be lost in the dry humping scene is Tom Fridley's boxers. And they put a jockstrap on him, and he was like, at first he's like, oh yeah, hey, this is going to be a great scene, blah, blah, blah. And then he turned into Mr. Shy Man for about, 20 minutes. He was a little mortified that, it's usually the woman that has something that goes on like that, but he had to put the jockstrap on. It was like a whole different vibe on set.
Now, not being an actor, I can only say that I think as hard as people are on women's bodies, I do think that when a man does a full nudity scene, I think the comparisons are probably much harsher. Just going to put that out there. Well, fortunately for you, a lot of MILF porn. Now I've lost my whole train. Oh, I know what I was going to go now. But during the commercial break, you teased that you had another sex scene story that you would share.
That was it.
So it was the other part of that story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that they, the producers calling from LA were saying, we need more nudity. Yeah. It's like, too late.
I mean, I guess for that time in movie history, I guess it was almost which I'll have something about that later, but I want to go over to Chad now. Chad.
Also, during the break, you brought up that you had some new projects in. I was going to ask you, what have you been doing through the lockdowns and the COVID stuff? And, have you been working on any projects, or is this something that was in the can beforehand and you're just waiting for it to be released?
No, thank you so much for directing your energy to that. Yes, I have something that came out in April called Clown Fear. And Lionsgate released it, and there will be a Clown Fear 2, I fear. And I did a Tom Six film called The Onania Club, and those of you who are thinking Tom Six, he is the Human Centipede director. He did the Human Centipede trilogy. So you fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a bumpy ride with the Onania Club, you guys. It is hands down amazing. I'm so proud of this film. I'm so excited for it to come out. I don't have a date. I think because of COVID that everything kind of got pushed back, so we'll see. But yeah, just keep your seatbelts fastened. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
We'll certainly keep an eye out for that, and hopefully we can have you back and talk about that a little bit when it gets a little closer to coming out.
My pleasure.
With all this stuff going on, has it something that, have you been able to work any through it, or are you locked up like the rest of us, or?
Unfortunately, I have been locked up, and I've been staying home and safe and just doing things at home. I recently did a Zoom with some castmates from Hard Bodies. So it was Grant Kramer, it was Courtney Gaines, who I also worked on Can't Buy Me Love with, and Kathleen Kinmont. So it's her webisode or her Zoom, her series, and I think that's coming along shortly. So you might want to check that out. Kicking It with Kathleen. I'm not sure the name of it. I haven't gotten all the information. I think they're still working on it, but it'll be out soon. And it was fun.
Things like that are certainly the innovation of this, is that there's all these new avenues that have kind of grown up and matured through this. And it's great that the fans get to see more and talk more to you all. And we appreciate you putting yourself out there for that. But right now it's 9:30, so let me toss it over. I think we got another commercial coming up.
Don't we always? We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
Horror. Movie. Fans. 4. Life. Find us. 4. News. 4. means for life.
The horrors of Stephen King were released onto the world this week back in 1976 with the release of his first book-to-movie adaptation, Carrie. This supernatural horror film follows 16-year-old Carrie, who is being bullied and mocked at school and abused at home by her religiously fanatic mother. Taking pity on Carrie, one of her classmates convinces her boyfriend Tommy to take Carrie to the prom, but neither of them know that their friends have a bit of a prank planned. At the prom, the prank is played out, but the joke is on the other students, as they soon discover their prank has dire consequences and the truth about Carrie is unleashed onto them all. Carrie was a commercial and critical success and solidified Stephen King's place in the horror world.
To chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This week back in 1988, the John Carpenter cult classic They Live hit theaters. The film follows a drifter, played by Rowdy Roddy Piper, as he lands a construction job in a big city but soon discovers things aren't quite right. After following a strange group of people into a nearby church, he discovers a pair of sunglasses. These glasses aren't your typical sunglasses, however, and when worn, he's able to see that many people around him and those in government are actually aliens, and they are controlling humans through subliminal messages. They Live wasn't a huge success when it was released, but like many of John Carpenter's works, it has since gone on to develop a solid cult following and is ranked amongst the most underrated films of all time.
And welcome everybody to Scarefest Television Part Trace. Okay, now I'm gonna go in. This time I'm gonna get some plugs in for Darcy. Your social media and everything. Of course, she's got a Twitter account that she admitted today that she never uses, but you can follow her on Twitter. But I understand that Instagram is your passion.
I'm kind of digging Instagram. I'm kind of getting the laws of the land with it and getting the feel for it. So I'm Darcy Demoss, DarcyDemoss 19. Follow me.
Because there just happen to be 18 other Darcy Demosses on Instagram. I hate when the numbers are on the end of it.
No, I'm born on the 19th.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's meaningful. Sorry that you hate that.
I am Instagram challenged. I signed up for an account a year ago because that's what you do, and it's too chaotic for me. Yeah. I mean, I understand if you have somebody famous that people would want to see every breakfast and dinner.
Let's just clear that up. I am not famous. Let's just stop right there. I am not famous.
Everybody that comes on my show claims they ain't famous. Well, that's, yeah. We grade on a curve here. We grade on a curve, and compared to me and Chad, you are world famous.
Come on, Chad. Get on the Darcy Demoss 19 train.
I checked it out today.
Now, I'm going to throw out one website because being the tech whiz that I am, I loaded the other website she told me about on the wrong computer, and I can't pull it up right now. But, of course, DarcyDemoss.com. DarcyDemoss.com. She's got some of her autographed merchandise, and I'm going to ask you about one or two of these pieces here. If you remember, there's a knife. What is that from? Because nobody used a knife on you.
It's just a plastic knife. It's for fun.
Okay.
If
Okay,
I sign
okay.
it, I can put someone's name on it and sign it to them.
Now,
I have a bloody knife too, where you tilt it up. You know, the blood drains down. When you tilt it down, the blood comes down from it. That's kind of fun as well.
now, of course, the one that caught my eye is the early 90s Playboy that you were in. And so I know what I'm putting on my Christmas list for this year. But now you've got a what I'm assuming is a plastic mold of your famous faceplant into the bathroom wall.
Yes, I do.
Is that an original cast from that?
If it was original, it would be going for way more. It is a replica, but it's the same face. It's the same, pose, but it is a replica. I cannot tell a lie.
Let me get inside baseball. Did you put your face in plaster to make this, or did they,
Same thing. Did the exact same thing.
Then that is as good as. That is just as, if it's the original face, that's what matters. I mean, now,
Thank you.
Now, if somebody wants to cut the aluminum siding out of the inside of the van, yeah, that's worth a lot more money. But I dare say that would be a very limited edition.
The one I had it and it melted. It was left out in the sun and it completely melted. I had the original.
Well, there went your retirement fund.
I know everybody went, oh! I heard the gasp.
And now I watched. I think I missed part of the installment because after I watched Trophy Heads, I loved it, and I loved the whole take on it. But then after I watched that, then I'm scrolling through and didn't have time to watch. Then they had an episode 1, which was you. And so I was wondering, do you happen to know, is that because when you come on, basically you introduce Trophy Heads and they're getting ready to chop your head off or whatever it was. Does that include the kidnapping scene and everything? Do you know that?
Yes, it does.
Then I am going to have to rent that and watch it, because that was my biggest disappointment. And I posted on Facebook, okay, you were one of the stars, and I turn it on, and right off the bat, there's Darcy. That was easy. Oh, because in the actual movie part, you're the setup for what happens to everyone else.
But you do see our heads talking to each other.
Yeah, but
so spoiler alert.
It's not the same.
Let's talk to Charles Band about that. What the hell? Thanks, Charles.
It was a great
one film with Charlie Band, and so maybe that's why the other girls did a lot more films, perhaps. And he wrote it. It was his concept, his idea. I was literally driving home, and I got a call from Charles Band, and he asked if I wanted to be in it, and I was like, "Wow, what an honor! I'm so thrilled that you still remember me." And that's great.
I will say that, including your part, because the whole thing's I guess we'll call it a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right off the bat, you got a couple of great lines in. So that's the kind of movie I enjoy. The effects were good. It didn't feel it needed to go over the top to show the guts and everything. But
right.
I love a horror movie that knows it's funny and plays on it.
Right. Yeah. And that's what that does. Trophy Heads.
Yeah. If he tried to play that serious, it would have been another forgetful heap. Now, Chad kind of touched on it. I want to get on it a little bit. The whole COVID thing. You look like the type of this. Speaking to you, this seems like you seem like the kind of person that this whole lockdown thing would just absolutely drive you bananas.
Yeah.
more so than a lot of people. I don't see anything introverted about you.
Yeah, you're correct.
How not to be Dougie Downer here, but how hard has it been not being out with the fans? I can tell you're the type of person that just loves the interaction of people.
I do. I really enjoy it, and I just feel like it's such a gift that these little films that I worked on, a long time ago are still, being treasured, and it's so appreciated. So I do, and I love to interact with everybody, and I do enjoy the shows so much, the cons. But, right now we're doing the best we can, and that's why we're doing this right now. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And now, I realize the calendars are very fluid right now. Do you have anything booked on the horizon that, God willing, you're going to be able to get back out with the people?
Well, it's Fear Fest it's in Atlanta, Georgia, in February, I believe. And then there's, pardon me?
I just said, okay, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. And then, and that's where we filmed Friday the 13th, part 6, in Atlanta, Georgia. So I believe we have the whole cast coming. And our director, which is a big bonus, Tom McLaughlin. And then there's another one in July that's in the mountains. It's a music fest, Fear Fest music fest.
I saw that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that one.
That'll be fun. Come on. The mountains, let's pray that I want to go to the mountains, don't you? I want to be surrounded by Mother Nature.
I'm a farmer. You get over it. Okay.
Well, I can't get enough.
I want a good hotel with a comfortable bed at this point. Let's go ahead.
One thing I didn't mention, and I'd love to plug if you don't mind me interrupting.
No, absolutely.
I'm also a wildlife photographer. And I have a website called exoticvisuals.com, just the way it sounds. And I've photographed animals all over Africa. I've been there 7 times. And I actually have a little bit of Haiti. I went there. I was invited to go and photograph what was happening. And I stayed at an orphanage right after the earthquake that was devastating. So, yeah, check it out, please.
What's that website again?
It's www.exotic, EXOTIC, visuals, VISUALS.com, exoticvisuals.com.
That's a very good web address.
Yeah.
Easy
Check it out.
to
Elephants and baboons and all kinds of fun animals.
Okay, we're going to hit our next commercial break. When we come back, I'll turn it back over to Chad. Be right back, everybody. Mama Ruby offers fun vendor-based events that focus primarily on the metaphysical and spiritual aspects of our lives. Well, 2020 didn't go as planned, to say the least. Since Mama Ruby's can't bring the vendors to you in person, they still encourage you to support them online. For links to these and other outstanding artists, craftspeople, vendors, and psychics, visit mamarubies.com and click shop.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more.
True crime and horror movie history came together this week back in 1982 when actress Dominique Dunne, best known for her role as Dana Freeland in the horror classic Poltergeist, was found by her roommate dead in her front yard. Dominique's estranged boyfriend, John Sweeney, was found with her body and confessed to strangling her out of jealousy and anger over their breakup. Dominique's tragedy was one of many that plagued the cast and crew of the movie Poltergeist, which has led many to believe that the movie itself was cursed.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We got a few more minutes here with Darcy, and I just want to, before we get too far into it, touch base again. Check out her Instagram. She talked about her photography. There's a link to it on her Instagram, so make sure you go check that out too while you're at it, and look out for the projects she's got coming. But Darcy, we were talking a little bit about COVID and how we, and you can tell, that's the most horrific thing going on because we're a horror convention and that's what we keep going back to. But what have you done to keep yourself busy during it?
Well, I have a dog and a cat and an African gray parrot. So, and a husband. I mean, the husband's first, obviously, but we have a full house here and we keep very busy. So a lot of walks with our dog. And we've been exercising and just trying to eat right and stay healthy and, be as positive as possible. I'm cleaning out shelves and going through the garage and just, doing stuff that you might not have the time to do. So we have the time and the opportunity and it feels good.
I've done none of that. None of that.
None of that?
I have wasted. You always say, well, when I have time, I'll clean out that closet. No, that wasn't it. Nope. Was not it at all.
It takes a lot of effort and time to grow that beard, Wes. I know that's a full-time job for you.
Hey, now, are you joining me? It's No Shave November,
Oh.
I've got peach fuzz.
Of course, in 2020, it's No Shave 2020 for most people. But
exactly.
I had mine shaved off for some cosplay, so now the winter beard is gonna kick off this month and just see what happens.
Who are you playing?
I'm too lazy to actually cosplay anybody else, so I make up my own characters. The last one I did was the guy we just watched on the segment a minute ago, the tomb attendant, which is a blatant knockoff of the Crypt Keeper, but just for copyright notices, no, it's not really. It's really not a knockoff of him.
Got a killer Bad Santa though.
Yeah, in December I'll be doing Bad Santa. Really, actually, it's really Bad Santa. Once again, to avoid any copyright problems that we might have on the show. And then I did one. I've got Dick Pinkerton. He's a detective. He's on his third divorce. That kind of guy. And so, yeah. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I just enjoy. I enjoy the attention.
The thing that matters is that you're having a good time.
Absolutely, and people pay attention when I do it. This all started last November. I did a convention for Scarefest up in Louisville. And one day I decided to pull, and it was in November, so I said, hey, we'll do Bad Santa. And so I came to that convention dressed as my Bad Santa character, and I had people just swarm me for pictures. And I do all this for attention. I wish I had a higher aspiration. I just like being the center of attention, and I was. So I said, you know what, I need to get back into that a little bit. So, but yeah, that's my life story in a nutshell, and a blatant need for attention. That's what it all is.
And you own it. I appreciate that.
I'm nothing if not honest. Now I'm going to ask you. Now this is a question that I should ask all my guests before they come on the air. If you had one project that you've worked on that somebody could go to IMDb and click it and find out where to rent it or where to watch it or whatever, what movie do you think you shine the most in that you've done? Not necessarily your favorite movie, but the one that is. Okay.
There's two. It's Can't Buy Me Love and Friday the 13th Part 6. And now going into the Onania Club. I'm a mean bitch.
I can't imagine. That must be really good acting.
Oh no, I'm so bad it's good.
I was going to watch Clown Fear, but I could not find it streaming.
Oh,
yeah.
Lionsgate?
Yeah.
Is it Lionsgate? Should be.
Do they have a streaming, sir? I'm Netflix and Hulu, baby. That's as far as I go. And Amazon Prime.
Sorry, I went to the screening. That's all I know.
and oddly enough,
dumb shit, but I don't know.
I didn't really mean to put you on the spot for that part of it, but
totally fine.
No, okay. Now here is one that I could not find either, and I don't even know. You might have had like a 10-second part. 666 Creepy Carrie. The name caught my eye.
Yeah, it's a David Duchovny. I play the kind of like the principal. I'm running a college, and it's fun.
Give me your synopsis of the movie, so I'll know whether to dig
just
or
see
not.
if you can find it. Go to David Duchovny, and you'll find it and watch it. It's fun. It's campy and it's enlightening and it's like crazy fun. That's all I can say. I have a website in front of me. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I like campy. I like campy.
Campy fun.
Yeah, but basically when I bring someone on like you, I just go down your IMDb and start searching. And,
right. I haven't looked at my IMDb in like 3 years.
Well, somebody's keeping it up for you because the Onania Club is on there as completed.
Yeah.
It's not in release, and then on down the list. And then all the way down. What'd you do? Okay, what'd you do on Erotic Confessions?
Oh God, that was a really long time ago. I did two of them, and I can't recall.
Okay, well, it wouldn't matter. My wife wouldn't let me watch it anyway, but
yeah, no, don't let him watch it. Don't let him watch it.
Well, everybody, we're going to call it a night here. Don't forget, if you want to join us, and we're going to have a little gab session. Hey, that's kind of movie appropriate.
Jab me, just gab with me.
That is very appropriate. But if you want, go to patreon.com/scarefestradio. Become a Patreon of the show. We're going to do this 2 or 3 times a month. Tonight on our debut episode, Darcy will be doing a little Q&A and flirting with me a little more, hopefully. And we're just going to call it a night. Darcy, you have been a delight. You were a better guest than I could have imagined.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
You've been a pleasure. Thank you.
Background.
Everybody, see you next week or see you in 10 minutes.
Thank you.